Greetings and welcome to Victoria 2. This is a grand strategy game from the same developers as Crusader Kings 2, Europa Universalis, Hearts of Iron, and I've got about, 80 hours or so of experience in the game, which means that I know the basics, but I'm not exactly very experienced with it. Nevertheless, I do want to start a Let's Play, and I've actually been sort of reluctant on starting one because unlike many of the other grand strategy games, this isn't very action-filled, so it doesn't revolve around war like Hearts of Iron or Europa Universalis, and neither does it have all the funny events that pop up like in Crusader Kings. But nevertheless, I think it's a very interesting game. Right, well, let's go jump into it, and in the meantime I'll be talking about the game and playing it, obviously. So I'll be starting off as this nation right here, Oyo. As you can see, I've been doing some test runs with it, and my reasons for picking it are that it has potential. That's basically the main reason for picking any nation at all. And of course, well, you could pick some nation, like for example, Krakow, if you were to play for yourself, but the problem is that if you pick one of these small nations anywhere, you might not have a very eventful game and you might get steamrolled in the first few decades, which is not exactly very ideal if I want to make a let's play of this. So I gotta find something with potential, and Oyo was the nation that I stumbled onto. So the nice thing about it is it has a lot of population. Population is very important in this game. It's, I guess you could say, one of the main resources that you have to play around with. And also, a lot of the neighboring nations do also have a lot of population, especially this one. There's a green giant to the north. This will be my main competitor for the start of the game. And, for example, if I were to expand my nation across all of these areas, I'd have a very nice amount of population, which means that I can actually be meaningful in the world, so that's very important. Now, the problem here is that we start as a primitive nation. We don't have a lot of technology, actually no technology at all, compared to all these European nations, and, well, I guess European nations and the United States, which are very far into the technology tree. Well, maybe not very far, but you'll see it'll take a while before I get there. Let's just jump in so that we can see the start of the game. Now, this game is set in the Victorian era, as you might have guessed from the title, and it runs from 1836 to 1936, which is largely the era where Queen Victoria of the British was on the throne, and the game is very much about making progress. Let's go and take a look. So this is us, and we own 4 provinces, but as you will see later on in the game, the most important thing on the map are the states, which is basically a group of provinces that have the same culture. So as you can see, the culture here in my provinces are mostly Yoruba. And as you can see, I have a core in all of these provinces. This means that my nation sort of either owns it or has a direct claim on the province. And this will be a very important aspect of the game because cores will produce conflicts between nations. For example, we got this province right here. I have a core on it, but so does this person. This means we'll have a conflict over this province. As I mentioned before, we'll be having issues with these people. And also, these 2 provinces, I also have a core on. And the nice thing about these provinces with a core is that you can go to war for this simple reason alone. You don't need to fabricate a claim. I'll be needing to fabricate claims on these provinces, for example. But let's wait with all of this, and let's start with the beginning. Getting our budget in the positive. So yes, here's where all the population comes into play. There's 3 groups of population: the poor, the middle class and the rich. And usually when I do my taxes, I prefer to tax the poor, I prefer to tax the rich, and I prefer to leave the middle class mostly untaxed. The reasons being is, as I have mentioned, the game is very much about progress, and the middle class is very important for that. You have people like artisans, they make all your goods, which I will be getting to. There's a whole bunch of economics in this game. You got bureaucrats, which are gonna be representing your government. You got clergymen, which will be educating your people, which will be very important since you want to make progress, which means technology. You got clerks, which I don't have yet. These are like factory workers, for example, like craftsmen, but I don't have any factories as I'm a primitive nation. But these will all be very important. And we got officers, of course, for the army. Now, as you can see back here, the projected balance is in positive, so that's good. But we'll need to do some more tweaks. Let's see. National stockpile. This revolves around mostly the amount of supplies you want to give to your army. And since my army is absolutely worthless at the moment, this costs me almost nothing. So I will be keeping this all to a maximum. Right. Now we have education and administration. I'll be playing around with these sliders quite a lot, especially in the beginning. The idea is that eventually I want to get to 100% education. But for now, as you can see, I can't really afford that. Money will be very important. Right, well, let's keep it as it is, like this. Now we also have this little pop-up right here. The nation of Aro wants to ally me, and the alliances that I make back here are sort of important, because while I'm a decent-sized nation, I can't really go up against Sokoto alone. And the idea is that I want to expand. I want to take over this nation, and I want to take over these provinces. Now, these ones will be rather easy. I don't need to fabricate a claim, since I have a core. These ones I will have to fabricate a claim on, however. So, I don't want to ally these guys or these guys. I will accept the alliance with Aro, which is these people right here. Let's proceed. So we got one ally, one small ally. They only have 9 troops, which equates to 3 brigades. And for other big nations, these people, Ashanti, as you can see, they have about the same amount of population as I do, which means that they are one of the major nations in this side of the world, and I will want to ally them as well, mainly because I don't want Sokoto to ally them, because that would be sort of bad for me. So let's go to diplomacy. What they want, they will not accept. We will be... I can't increase relations yet, I need more diplomatic points, so I'm gonna wait with that. I'm fairly sure that I can ally a few more of these people. For example, Wari. Let's go to diplomacy, form an alliance. They will not accept. Okay, well, they will accept later on. At least I got one ally. Now, what's the next thing that I need to do? Oh yeah, well, I'm a primitive nation, which means I can currently not research any technology directly. I first need to westernize, and we need to go to politics for this, and yes, we have to do all sorts of reforms. We gotta strive to get 100% in this bar, so that we can westernize, and all these reforms contribute some amount to the westernization process. Most of these in the beginning, as you can see, civilization progress is plus 15%, and I'll be talking about these once I actually have enough research points. As you can see, I only have this amount of research points, and for the first one I need about 9,000, so it'll take a while. Anyway, the first decade, I guess, is mostly going to be about warfare, trying to expand my small nation into something bigger. So, now on to the military. As you can see here in this screen, we have 3 out of 5 possible brigades that we can make. So that means we still have 2 brigades that we can produce. As for the army that we can make, for now we can only make irregulars, which are just a bunch of almost untrained militia, so they are very much crap, but the rest of the nations around here also have crappy military, so that's not really a problem just yet. I'll be producing 2 more. Okay, now I think we're set to move on. I'm gonna leave it at speed 1 for now. Oh, and there we go. Oil in the modern age. So you got a whole bunch of these event pop-ups. They aren't funny pop-ups like in Crusader Kings 2, as I mentioned before, but the tone of the game is very serious. So Oyo shall endure. I'm not gonna read it all, but what we get with this is that we have a better pop-up, that we have a better relation with what was it again? Okay, well, anyone that has a bad relationship with us will have an increased relationship, so that's all good. Now the reason why I set it on speed 1 is that I want to check out this thing right here. I want to make sure that I'm running profit. Okay, I think we're fine. Let's go to speed 2. These initial decades are going to be somewhat slow, perhaps, because, as I mentioned, I need to westernize, and I'm not able to do all that much. So, yeah, I need to work on my research speed, even though I can't research anything directly. You need the same points to make all your reforms, and, oh, well, mind of westernization. What do we got? Allow westerners into Oyo as long as they don't cause any trouble, or refuse them. Well, I'm going to accept them because, as you can see, it gives me plus 20% research modifier, which is very good. That's exactly what I need. Now, as you get a whole bunch of these events where you can choose between a few options, you'll be seeing these things pop up: consciousness and militancy, and these sort of represent the attitude of your population. So consciousness means that they are sort of aware what is happening in the political landscape of your nation, and if they are too aware of things, they will actually try and force you to do some reforms in their benefit. And militancy is much more extreme. This is all about people trying to revolt. So you want to keep these down at all costs. Well, not all costs, but you want to keep them down as much as you can. So what do we got here? We got a first minister, and we have... Well, I guess that's good. It's all green, so it's all good. Some more diplomacy points. I'll be needing this to increase my relations with other nations. So, okay. Now, another thing that I haven't really talked about is the economics. Wait. I totally butchered that word. The economy, sorry. So yeah, this plays a major part of the game. And it also makes it so that the whole game sort of feels connected. Every nation, every province produces goods, and well, all these goods need to go somewhere. They either go to your own people or they will go onto the local and world market. Now what we can see back here is the world market, and this contains all the goods that are exported from nations. Well, actually not nations, from states. As I mentioned before, the state is the most important aspect of the world map, as it sort of is semi-independent, I guess you could say. So most of these states that exist could potentially be independent if they want to do, but mostly they are incorporated into bigger nations. So yeah, anyway, the state sort of is semi-independent in that all the products that are being produced in different provinces inside the same state are being traded. So this means that, first of all, the first network of trade is between provinces in the same state. Afterwards, it'll go to the common market, I think it was called, or which is the market that is, well, how do I explain it? There's a lot to explain. As I said, it's a very complicated game, and yeah, so let's go to the ranks of the game. Sorry if this seems a little bit messed up, but it's difficult to explain everything in the game because everything is connected, and when I talk about one thing, I could be talking about everything. So yes, there is ranks in the game. As you can see, I'm ranked 111, which is terrible. And the biggest 8 ranks are the great powers. For example, France, United Kingdom, Prussia, Austria. There are 8 of these. These are the most important nations. Then you have the secondary powers. That's the 8 following nations. These have also considerable amount of power. For example, the Netherlands, Belgium, 2 Sicilies. These are important countries, and could potentially become great powers. And eventually they will, most of them. And after that you have all the rest, basically. And the thing is that the higher your rank, the more priority you get on the world market. So it's very important to get your rank higher. This means that you'll be able to purchase more things, and that your population will be able to purchase more things on the world market. Now, let's see what I want to do here. I wanted to fabricate a claim on these people. Now, I'm sort of... Oh yeah, and I also needed to get more diplomacy going. Will these people from an alliance? They will accept. Excellent. Okay, proceed. That's another person on my side. This will be useful to put pressure on this nation. And also, as you can see, they have forts, which means that they get some defensive bonus. So I'm gonna have to lure them out to destroy them once I actually do go to war with them. And they are allied with these people right here. So these two are allied. This sort of puts me in a sandwich, which means that I really need these people to sort of relieve the pressure. Right, and what about these people? Can I go form an alliance yet? They will not accept. Okay, well, I need 2 diplomacy points before I can increase relations. Are these guys? No, he's not allied with anyone yet. So, yeah, the first expansion is either going to be back here or back here. I could immediately go to war with these guys, since I don't need a claim. Oh, another thing that I forgot about. It's we need to do a lot of things at once to start everything properly. So we also have the national focus, which is something that depends on the amount of population you have. So for now, I can only have 1 national focus, and they are statewide. And these allow me to sort of influence what the state will do. This promotion, for example, influences which jobs people will have. And the first job that I would like to influence is... Well, actually, I'm not sure. I'm actually going to go with soldiers, just for now. Let's see, my budget is... Military spending is at 50%. The more budget I give military spending, the more people will be influenced to become soldiers. And this, for example, if I were to use a national focus, I sort of can circumvent this a little bit. So, what do I do? Well, I'm actually making quite a bit of money, so I'm gonna up the spending here a little bit because I need more soldiers and also need more education. This will influence the amount of people that become a clergy, and this slider, for example, will influence the amount of people that want to become a bureaucrat. So I need bureaucrats for my government efficiency, which is very low, as you can see, 4.6%. It's absolutely terrible. This also means that with a terribly inefficient government, if you look at the bottom of this little tooltip, you can see tax efficiency is 20%, which means that I did put this on 100% tax, but I'm only getting about 20% tax, because, well, otherwise putting it to 100% would pretty much, well, kill these people since they have no money. But also, as you can see, we have this red area right here. 50% of the people cannot get their needs, and in this case it's the artisans. It's always the artisans. The problem with them is that they produce goods, and in order to produce goods they need to be able to buy goods. And as I mentioned before, my rank, the opportunity to purchase goods from the world market is dependent on my rank, and my rank is very low, so that's bad. Let's continue for now. What do we have? What do you accepted? Perfect, excellent. So yeah, we need to go to war soon. Let's just merge this first. Oh yeah, and I need leaders, military leaders. It's also an easy way to get a higher rank, as military leaders does improve your military power. So I'm gonna get rid of auto create. I want to do it myself, but I need 20 leadership, so that's still gonna take a while. But for now, this army is decent enough to crush both of these neighbors. Can I get an alliance yet? They will not accept. Well, I guess I gotta wait. I just have to... I'm gonna start fabricating a claim already on these people. Justify war. Conquest. It takes 400 days. And the problem is that if we are detected, we'll get a whole bunch of infamy, which the neighboring nations won't really like. Right, well. Now, as I said, it's not a very action-filled game, but we do have war, and mostly you go to war because, well, if you don't, you won't be able to progress. As I mentioned, I need more population to be able to be strong enough to survive and not get steamrolled, so I need to go to war in order to do that. But it's not about painting maps, for example, in mostly Europa Universalis, where you just go to war for the sake of, well, yeah, taking more territory. Right, so time is going rather slow in this game, a little bit slower than in the other games, because it's only the time span is only 100 years, and if you were to compare this to Europa Universalis or Crusader Kings, those games both are going for 400 to 700 years, which is quite a lot. But the nice thing about all of this is that 100 years is plenty, and also makes it so that you don't get utterly silly situations. So even at the end of the game, most of the things will be fairly plausible. So yeah, yeah, I need to get more research points. Eventually I'm gonna be getting quite a lot, but I get up my literacy. And as you can see, I'm only getting plus 0.01% each month, which is not a lot. But this will go up if I can increase the education budget. And also, the more clergymen we have, everything influences everything, which makes this game quite interesting. So yeah, honestly, I could go to war with them. I could take it first. I can easily crush them. Also, as you can see, they are not really spending that much on their military. As you can see, this bar right here is the organization. So all my troops receive all their goods, all their supplies, which is honestly is, well, yeah, not a difficult choice because I'm barely spending anything. Since these are irregular troops, they are only requiring 0.03 pounds. So yeah, all the currency is in pounds because, well, the British are the most dominant faction at the moment. And after all, it's called Victoria 2, so it sort of revolves around the British being the dominant empire for about a century, longer than a century. Okay, now we got mission to Dahomey. Oh, okay. That's bad. Oh no, wait, that's good. Oh no, wait, that's bad. CB generation speed decrease, so this means that it's gonna take a little while longer before I get a casus belli on my neighboring nation. So here we go. We're about 1/4 through the war justification. Let's just hope that it doesn't get discovered, because I can really miss all that infamy. Right, and as you can see, my rank is... oh crap. Well, there we go, we got a whole bunch of infamy, which is not good. But I gotta keep going. Now, what was the next thing that I needed to do? I'll probably be... I'll be switching around between all these tabs quite a lot, because you need to be tweaking things quite often. For example, I'm making a bit of money, which means that I could potentially... you know what, I'm gonna drop this. I'm gonna drop this. I want to make sure that the artisans can purchase things, but they won't, because our rank is too low. So, you know what, let's just tax them a little bit more. This is all fine. Also, here you have the National Bank. This is the amount of money that your population can save. And, well, this can be both good and bad. The nice thing about the National Bank is, if you go in debt, the first place you will borrow money from is your National Bank. If you got nothing in the National Bank, you will be borrowing from national banks of other nations. And the problem with this sometimes is that if you have a lot of money in a national bank, other nations will try and borrow money from you. And if they go bankrupt and they can't repay the money, that money is gone. Obviously, your people won't like that, so that's one bad thing. And you do get a casus belli against nations that can't pay back their loans. But most of the time, for example, with my small nation right here, what am I going to do? For example, if the Ottomans were to have a loan with me and I can't pay it back, I'm not exactly going to go to war against them. So I prefer to keep the money within my nation. And when I see that the National Bank is getting too big, I sort of need to tweak the taxes so that the money flows back to me instead of flowing back to nations that probably won't pay back their loans. Right, well, anyway, I think I'm going to be wrapping up this first episode here, because it's sort of gone on long enough and we haven't exactly done much except tweaking the initial year or so. We're almost 1 year through, but we are making profit. We are making a CB on this nation, and we do have a healthy army, so things are going good for now. I think the next episode will be going to war. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.